Hello everybody, welcome to this week's video. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I have often in the past done a kind of reading wrap-up video, but I wanted to do a watching wrap-up video, if you will. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the series and movies that I've seen recently that I've very much enjoyed. I'm not going to talk about all the films I've seen recently because I have seen quite a fair few, but I want to pick out a few and just talk to you about them and just chat about some series as well. I don't know how many series I'm going to talk about because I'm watching a few at the moment, but there's definitely one or two that I want to mention. So without further ado, we'll get straight into it and we'll see how well this goes. So I think we should start with the series because I think I'm going to have the least to say about these. So recently I watched Only Murders in the Building Season 4. I know I'm a little bit late. I keep forgetting that they have new seasons, but I saw promo for it, or I just thought of it and checked to see if they were making a new season. And then I realized that I haven't even seen the most recent one that they have made, so here's me meanwhile waiting for a new season without having finished the most recent one. So I watched season 4, and as can be expected, there's a murder, it's in the building, and the 3 podcasters have to solve it. I feel like nothing will ever really top the first season of Only Murders, because that is kind of the blueprint of what you're basing all of your expectations on, if you will. But the season is not bad by any means. It's interesting because for the past 2 seasons they've had people from outside the building come in and like meddle and interfere. I mean, they had that in the first 2 seasons as well, but I feel like the past 2 seasons, because they've had I think in the 3rd season it was another, like a big podcast producer who was trying to rip off their show, who was trying to rip off their podcast and make a podcast of her own, basically based on theirs. And then in this season they had a Hollywood studio, Paramount apparently, wanted to make a film about their podcast, or about the 3 of them and doing their podcast. So you have all of these executives and actors and movie people and the writer of the film and all of those people. You have them all interfering with this investigation that they have to do, and it just makes for fun TV. If you haven't seen Only Murders in the Building and you want something that's entertaining, sometimes funny, a little quite humorous, and where you don't have to concentrate too much, I would give this a watch. Then I was still going strong with old Coronation Street. I'm still slogging my way through 2014. I'm in actually May of 2014 at the moment, which is interesting since it's May now. But I took a break from watching Coronation Street for a while, or at least past Coronation Street. I've still been watching current Coronation Street every week as it comes out. It's so weird to watch 2 eras of Coronation Street at the same time, because sometimes I get confused about what's happening where and which characters are still there and who was not there yet. But anyway, I'm kind of enjoying it again now. There was a time in the 2014 era that I was not enjoying at all, and if any of you watch Coronation Street, it is the time when Tina and Peter have an affair. That I mean, technically they're still having an affair. It's not over yet, but it's not as intense at the moment, which I'm grateful for, because I couldn't deal. I started to skip through their scenes, and that's not something I want to have to do. But I started skipping through their scenes. Anyway, I didn't think I was going to have this much to say about series. Lastly, I am also currently watching season 21 of Grey's Anatomy. I stopped watching Grey's Anatomy, I think, after season 17 or so, because my mom and I always used to watch it on the television when it came on in South Africa. And then at some point I was just fed up. I didn't want to deal with it anymore. But recently I've been getting that kind of nostalgic feeling of, ooh, I wonder what's happening in Grey's Anatomy at the moment. So I started watching it again, and I'm quite enjoying it. I don't have any of the baggage attached to any of the characters that are in it at the moment that most other people seem to have, because I've been on Reddit, on the Grey's Anatomy subreddit, and people have opinions, as they do in the Coronation Street Reddit, which I am also on, and is a lot of fun. Most of the time we're just making jokes all the time. But the Grey's Anatomy people, they're angry at some of these characters, and I am just like an outside viewer looking in to this little world for the time being. I don't know if I'll keep watching Grey's Anatomy when the season's over. I'm going to watch until the end of the season, which is 2 episodes away, so 2 weeks away basically from being done. I don't know if I'm going to watch next year or whenever the next season comes out. I don't know if I'll still be invested, but I'm having a fun time now. For my films that I watched recently that I have enjoyed, I'm going to start you off with My Dead Friend Zoe, starring actually a Grey's Anatomy character or an actor from Grey's Anatomy, Natalie Morales. She is in My Dead Friend Zoe along with Sonequa Martin Green, who I don't think I've ever seen anything by before watching this film. And honestly, I think I looked up Natalie Morales after watching My Dead Friend Zoe because I wanted to see what I knew her from, because I don't know her from Grey's Anatomy, because when I started watching Grey's Anatomy again and she was in it, I was like, oh, it's Natalie Morales. But I can't figure out where I know her from. So I think I just know her because I know her. Anyway, My Dead Friend Zoe is about 2 friends who are in the army together. They are based in Afghanistan, if I'm not mistaken. They're US military, and they are based in the Middle East somewhere. And the story follows Sonequa Martin Green's character. Her name is Merritt in the film. Her character is the main character in the story. Natalie Morales' character's name is Zoe, so you can tell from the title that she's dead. But anyway, they go on this tour together, and then after the tour is over, Merritt decides that she wants to go back to college and study something. I don't remember what it was, but she wanted to study something and then, start a life back in the US. Zoe, however, doesn't really know what she wants to do with her life, so she said she's going to re-enlist because she doesn't know what else to do. But Merritt convinces her not to, and so they end up going back to the US together and starting their lives. And things go wrong. Things don't go well for Zoe. And so the film kind of follows how Merritt is dealing with Zoe's death and how she's trying to reckon with what happened in the Middle East and like her involvement in Zoe's life. And it's a very heartfelt film. It's also based on a true story. The writer-director based the film on 2 of his friends who worked with him in the military when he was serving, and it's very heartbreaking and it's very sad, and I cried at the end of the film when they said this is based on a true story. I was like, what? And I cried. So if you want a film that's going to make you cry. But it is not a sad film throughout. It is a sad film overall because of what happens, and the ending, when you find out what happened, it's sad. But throughout, it's kind of actually quite humorous and very heartfelt and fun, and you get to know all about Merritt's family as well, which is interesting to see those family dynamics. The next film I want to talk to you about is Black Bag, the new film with Kate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender. And other people, but mainly them. This film is about spies. Kate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender's characters are married in this story, and they are both spies for the same agency, and they have to go on spy missions that the other spouse can't know about, which is where the term black bag comes from. So if they want to know something about the other person, but the other person can't tell them because of spy reasons, they just say black bag. It's that information is in the black bag. You can't know that information. But the premise of the film is that there is a leak or a mole or whatever you want to call it in their agency, and Michael Fassbender's character is supposed to find out who is the mole. So he invites a bunch of the other spies around to their house for dinner, to try and suss out who this mole is. And a lot of different things go down in this film. I don't want to say anything really, because then I will spoil the whole thing. So I would say if you like spy thrillers mostly, and if you like kind of mystery films, murder films, crime type of stuff, I think you will enjoy this film. I don't want to give too much away, and I also don't think anybody should really see the trailer before going into the film. I think you should go into the film blind and just see where it takes you. Then, the last film I want to talk to you about is The Room Next Door, starring Tilda Swinton and Julianne Moore. A film by Pedro Almodovar. I had never heard of this director before this film came out, or this film entered my sphere of knowledge, because he is a Spanish director and he has only ever directed films in Spanish. This is his English film debut, and it is about a woman who is dying of cancer. She has stage 3 cervical cancer, and she is getting treatment for it, but at some point they realize the treatment is not working anymore, and that's Tilda's character. Julianne's character finds out that Tilda has cancer. They had been friends, but they've been not estranged, but they have kind of fallen out of touch over the years, and it's been, I think, a decade since they last saw each other or spoke. Something along those lines. And so Julianne's character finds out that Tilda has this cancer and she's dying. She decides she's going to go visit her, go see her, go and talk to her, be like, hey, remember me? We were friends once. I hope you're okay, even though you're dying. And lo and behold, Tilda decides that she's not going to take any more treatment. She's done with this treatment since it's not working anyway. She's not going to even try anymore. And she hatches a plan to euthanize herself, if you will, to basically to commit suicide. But she asks Julianne's character to help her. Not necessarily to help her kill herself, but to accompany her and to be with her in the days leading up to her suicide. And the dynamic, and just to see that how that plays out in this film, and to kind of think about what you would do if one of your friends asked you to do this for them, and the kind of moral grey area that this whole film takes place in, is really interesting to watch. It's also beautifully shot. Obviously the acting is stellar. You have Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton in it. It's obviously going to be great acting. And the story is so beautiful. I am going to start a collection of films of women with cancer and their friends / family, because there's 3 films that come to mind after seeing this film. This film being one of them, that fall into that category. The first one is My Sister's Keeper. The second one is Miss You Already. and then there's this one. So I'm going to start a collection of these films because I've loved all three of them. I don't know what that says about me, but I've loved all three of these films so much. Miss You Already is still one of my favorite films. I have to rewatch My Sister's Keeper because I saw it a long time ago, and I think it would have better impact if I saw it again now. But anyway, this film is so beautiful, and it just reinforces my opinion that films made by people from non-English speaking countries are better. They're just better. They have a better storytelling perspective. They tell more interesting stories. They tell them in more interesting ways. They don't have this cookie cutter box Hollywood nonsense that they're trying to fit into every time they make a film, even though Hollywood has made some great films or has brought about some great films, and a lot of Hollywood and English language, first language films are great. So I've spoken about a few here. But I don't know, I find I'm always more interested in the types of stories that are told by filmmakers from non-English speaking countries. So for instance, this one was a Spanish director. I've seen many films by French directors / filmmakers, French films, Swedish, Norwegian, Brazilian, Korean as well, Korean films. So many good films made by people whose first language is not English. And some of the films that I've seen are in English, even though the director / writer isn't, and then others are not, where you have to watch them with subtitles. But that's fine. I watch films with subtitles, no problem. I feel like I should also start a collection of films that say, this proves my point, that non-English first language directors make better films. That's a very long title. I'll have to think of a better, more concise name for that collection of things. If you're interested in more film rambles from me, please let me know, because I don't know how many people who are on here enjoy the film content or would prefer just book content. I'm still gonna keep making both of them because after all, it is my channel and I want to make things that I want to make, but I do also want to make things that people enjoy watching. So let me know what kind of content you want to see. I will be making some more favorites videos in the future of my favorite films, maybe my favorite childhood films, my favorite films in different categories. I could even do these categories, these two categories that I mentioned here, of foreign language films are better and women with cancer and their friends and family. Do let me know, and if you have any ideas for videos that I could make, always let me know, because I love to try out new concepts and new ideas as well. And yes, other than that, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday if you're watching this on Sunday, or the rest of your week if you're watching this on a different day. And I will see you again next week. Goodbye.